Oh yes, it is finally here! Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 4. Get ready for your advanced overview. Before we get started, a huge and big thank you to David Gabriel and the folks in Marvel for sending us an advanced copy of this omnibus. This omnibus is due out in the direct market on February 17th, and then a couple of weeks later in the book market. What we are looking at here, this cover, is the direct market cover. So this is the variant cover. On your left-hand side, that is your standard edition cover. So the direct market cover is only available at places like your local comic book store, cheap graphic novels, in-stock trades, Tales of Wonder, while the standard edition cover is available everywhere else, the book market. The direct market cover, of course, only being available at your local comic book shop, cheapgraphicnovels.com, Tales of Wonder, or in-stock trades. Now, let's take a closer look at this. So here we are with the cover that we voted for here at Near Mint Condition when we did a poll, oh my goodness, early last year. I want to say, it might have been in December of 2019. We took a poll as to what the direct market cover should be, and it was between this and 5 other covers that you all chose, but this is the one that won it out, and now it's here. It's the actual cover. It's on the book. So there's a lot of reasons why I'm so excited. And I swear, I'm going to try to keep this under an hour. I have no idea how long I'm going to go. Here is what the spine looks like. And then the back of the book. There's a blurb up here from Reggie Hudlin, who went on to write Black Panther, one of the greatest runs on Black Panther. He's talking about John Romita Jr. The contents of the book. The price of the book is $125. Here are the covers of what's collected in here. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. And of course, the most important question is, how is it going to look when it's on your bookshelf? Oh, man, what a beautiful sight. Man, that makes me so happy. Let's take a look at it under the dust jacket. We have Uncanny X-Men Omnibus. And then the spine, which is identical to the spine with the dust jacket. Then, of course, nothing in the back of the book. Let's get this sucker open and try to contain ourselves. It's been 5 years since our last volume came out, even though volumes 2 and 3 has just had another reprint. But it feels like ages to someone like me. And I say that because I've never read this stuff, but I have read this stuff so many times in my single issue format. I did not get, I think there was a thick trade paperback of this available. Oh, let's talk about these covers though. I think that's the cover to issue 177, and this, of course, being one of my favorite issues. And honestly, this is one that came close to being on the direct market cover when we were taking a vote. So here are the credits: Chris Claremont, Barry Windsor-Smith. I think Barry Windsor-Smith did the plot of 186, which is the first Life Death, and then the pencilers, layouts, and inkers, colorists, and letterers. And then we have the table of contents where you can find these issues. Here we have an introduction by Chris Claremont. This is the introduction, or should be the introduction, to the Marvel Masterworks X-Men Volume 10, I think. I stopped keeping up with those when I went the omnibus route. Alright, another classic cover right here. 176. I'm going to talk just a little bit about spoilers from the previous volumes. Not very much, but just a little bit. But this kicks off the John Romita Jr. era. So John Romita was a big artist at Marvel Comics, and he went on to do Spider-Man. He went on to do just about everything at Marvel, and then his son became an artist. And his son took on many, oh my gosh, I think his son has drawn just about as much as John Romita as far as the Marvel Universe. But one of his biggest runs early in his life, in his career, was Uncanny X-Men. So here we are with the honeymoon issue of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor. And of course, the X-Men, you know, trouble always comes looking for them. Now, this issue is really cool because this is John Romita Jr.'s second issue of Uncanny X-Men. Let me show you the differences. This is the first issue he did with inks by Dan Green and Bob Wysack, who end up becoming his regular inkers. But this one here, this one is inked by his dad, John Romita Sr. now, because they didn't want to get people confused between John Romita Jr. and Sr. I remember picking up this issue and I thought Dave Cockrum had filled in and John Romita Jr. was doing the inks, but nope, it's just John Romita Jr. drawing it and his dad doing the ink, so it gives him that classic look to his style. Not that John Romita Jr. did not develop his own classic style. I'm just saying his dad did have that classic Marvel style. So the stories in here. How do I go on about this without giving many spoilers and talking about just for an hour? So this is Chris Claremont, top form in this period of X-Men. This is when X-Men was the best-selling title. All the X titles, this, New Mutants. He's always been a master at just juggling different plot threads, creating new ones, wrapping up other ones, and this is no different than that. Now, in the third volume, we saw the introduction of the New Mutants, and the New Mutants do play a big, integral part in this omnibus. As a matter of fact, they're in a lot of these issues. There's a Secret Wars tie-in issue in here. And then, let me see. Actually, let's go back here for a second because this is a funny story. When I was first getting the picture from Marvel of what the standard edition cover looked like, it was all in black and white. And I couldn't tell who the figure was. It was a bald figure, and it didn't have any color. So I was like, who is this person? Let me show you what it looks like here. It's in the back. Yeah. And I thought it was like a crystal ball they had, but it's a basketball. And I could not remember about these sweet shorts that Professor X was wearing during this basketball thing. Now, why he can walk? I'll let you find out why and how he's able to walk. Or can he? There's the miniseries of Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, where they go off to Japan. That's a classic miniseries. That one's drawn by Al Milgram. To the Dragons in Love storyline. Yeah, well, the least we say about that one, the better. Not that it's horrible, but... So even though he was juggling a miniseries, he was juggling another ongoing series with New Mutants, he was writing the upcoming Alpha Flight X-Men 2-issue miniseries, annuals, the man was still able to just do all this and keep going with the classic storytelling that we got accustomed to when reading X-Men since he first started writing the book. There's so much complexity to each of these characters. In this issue right here, 183, one of my personal favorite ones where Colossus breaks Kitty's heart, and I'll let you find out why, but it's got something to do with Secret Wars. The original Secret Wars, not Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars. So what happens? Wolverine and Nightcrawler take him out drinking, and on purpose they pick a fight with the Juggernaut, just so both of these guys, Colossus and Juggernaut, can go at each other, because Wolverine wanted to teach Colossus a lesson about breaking Kitty's heart. Oh, what a freaking awesome story this was. And this is what I meant by the New Mutants was a pretty big integral part of X-Men back then. One issue would continue into New Mutants, and then the plot would be resolved in X-Men. Now, I don't really consider that a forced crossover event, really, because you're not really missing anything. Honestly, there are no issues of New Mutants collected in here. So, or Secret Wars for that matter. There's not even a little blurb. You're not missing anything. Because when I was reading this stuff, I wasn't buying New Mutants nor Secret Wars. I was just getting X-Men, and I was still enjoying it. And Chris Claremont does such an awesome job of just recapping things that have happened and what really was important during those events and leaving out the things that weren't. One of my favorite things that they do in these omnis is collect the letter pages. And during this time, these bring back memories. It's not the editors answering the letter pages, but it's the characters answering the letter pages. So I remember this one in particular, this is an angry fan talking about the wedding. This is why I had to mention this. But the wedding of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor. Talked about how that's just a slap to the face to fans, and they just went on, and then the editor had to keep in character because he was answering as Scott Summers. So I always thought that was pretty interesting how they decided to handle some of these letters, whether it's praise or whether it's anger or disappointment or just somebody saying hello, to stay in character. So I love that they collect those in here. And speaking of collecting, what does this collect? Well, this collects Uncanny X-Men 176 to 193. Annual number 8, the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine miniseries. It's a 6-issue miniseries. X-Men and Alpha Flight, the 2-issue miniseries. And then material from Marvel Fanfare number 40. One of my favorite. I remember I didn't get that issue until I was in my 20s. So all this talk of like Destiny and Mystique literally comes from that issue. So let's keep going here because we're gonna be, yes, right here. Life, Death. This is, the plot is co-written by Barry Windsor Smith. This is the very first Life, Death, and drawn all by Barry Windsor Smith. Chris Claremont supplying the co-plot and dialogue. but this is one of my favorite, most classic stories. So I know there's a lot of fans out there of Ororo and T'Challa, you know, Storm and Black Panther, but for me, baby, it's always been about Forge and Storm. That's it. Nothing gets better than this couple, and to me, they still belong together. So I love when my boy Genesis, the Maker, call him what you will, appear from time to time. We have issues here with the Dire Wraith. Oh, wait. There's so many classics in here. Here's the other introduction. So I assume this is from volume 11, I think, of the Marvel Masterworks. And we kick it off with the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine miniseries. This miniseries shows Wolverine going back to Japan, but this time to help Kitty Pryde out. And it shows the bond of Kitty Pryde and Wolverine in this, and how tight and why they're so close now. And also shows a bunch of character growth. I mean, this is the point in Chris Claremont's career between, I would say, From the Ashes, you know, until he ended his career with X-Men, that he showed all these strong female characters. Because to me, this run right here will make you fans of Rogue, Storm, and Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde, who will eventually be called Shadowcat. Because that's just the way he wrote these characters. Now, Al Milgram supplies the art in here. And Al Milgram is an artist that some people love, some people hate. But it's your own opinion. Now, we have a character that has appeared in the pages of New Mutants, again appearing in the pages of X-Men, and becoming a bigger character, and that is Selene. I'll let you find out who exactly that is. But we also have New Mutants guest starring in X-Men a lot more. So Amara is here hanging out with Rachel, and then they go on and fight Selene. But the next issue, oh man. Issue 190 and 191 with Kulan Gath, to me, are two of the most underrated issues of X-Men ever. I don't know why not enough people talk about these issues, but I love these two issues. And it's pretty much, the basic plot is this evil wizard dude from the pages of Conan has made Manhattan into this medieval place with magic, right? And it's not just the X-Men. The Avengers show up, Spider-Man show up. They all play a big role in this. And nobody can remember the past. And then, of course, characters sort of remember the past. But if this was an event these days, this would be a 12-issue maxi series with 35 different little mini-series. And I'm okay with that, because I would buy that omnibus too. But I just always love this plot. There's that creepy Caliban Professor X amalgam there. But I will let you find out how that gets resolved. Colossus gets a new costume. Rogue also gets a new costume in this. And for some reason, not going to reveal why, but Nightcrawler becomes the leader of the X-Men temporarily. Where's Storm? Well, she's still around. Professor X's leather outfit. And then we end this, well, at least the Uncanny issues, with the fight with the new Hellions. And the Hellions had appeared in issues of New Mutants, but they added some more team members in this, and they're going after the X-Men for revenge. In the back here we have, this is the annual, number 8. This is kind of a take on that one, what issue, 153, where Kitty Pryde tells a story, a fairy tale story, but this one's more about sci-fi and intergalactic war. But this one's drawn by the late Steve Laiola, so rest in peace, good sir. And then we have the 2-issue miniseries, X-Men and Alpha Flight, with the return of Paul Smith drawing these issues. These are beautifully drawn. I love these 2 issues. And it's interesting because the Asgardian Wars Deluxe hardcover had these 2 issues, as well as Uncanny X-Men Annual number 10, New Mutant Special, because they all have to do with Asgard, and honestly share a very similar plot. Not identical, but you can tell that they shared a very similar plot. But I love Paul Smith's artwork during these days. Now, the inks are supplied by Bob Wyzek, I think. And again, all of this written by Chris Claremont. And it was good to see these two teams team up again. Then we ended with Marvel Fanfare number 40, or at least material from Marvel Fanfare number 40. Now, this takes place during issue 185, I think. It's when Rogue disappeared. So this is a confrontation between Storm and Mystique. And this is what I was talking about, the whole Mystique and Destiny thing that people went on about. And I had no idea what they were talking about. And I had read every issue of X-Men. Well, it was found in these pages. So luckily, they collected them in this omnibus. Let's look at the extras. How am I doing on time? Don't even have a watch. Don't care. This is Uncanny X-Men we're talking about. I've been waiting years for this book. Here we have some original artwork, and actually, I know I've trimmed down some stuff already, so this is a lot longer than the final version will be, believe me. Maybe one day I'll put out my uncensored, uncut, original overview, where I go on for about an hour. Here we go with some layout sketches from Milgram. And that's one thing I didn't mention, because while some people hate Milgram, I always enjoyed his panel layouts. I thought they were really well. And he has a very, almost Frank Miller-ish look to his artwork back here. Okay, sorry, let's go back here. See, maybe I should start doing just omnibus reviews instead of just quick overviews. But I did want to just showcase the book for those of you that have been waiting and will wait just a little bit longer. Did I even mention the page count? I don't think I mentioned the page count. The book has 848 pages. And here we have some pinups from Marvel Fanfare Comics. And I have never seen this one. This is the X-Women poster. It's a 1985 Marvel Press Women poster by Carl Potts. Love Carl Potts. I'm a big fan of Carl Potts' writing and his art in Punisher. And here we have a poster by, I've seen this one. This is by Jackson Guice. Butch Guice. Whoa. What's up there, White Queen? I've never seen that either. That is a Marvel Press White Queen poster by Mary Wilshire. Here's a Wolverine. I could tell that's Rick Leonardi. Terry Austin inking it. And then Marvel Age cover and articles back here. It's mighty cool. Here's an interview with John Romita Jr. as he's getting ready to take over the book. Marvel Age cover with articles on the X-Men and Alpha Flight miniseries. Now, I do know these. This is the X-Men Classics reprinting these issues in here. John Romita Jr. actually drawing the cover for issue 176. That's awesome. But the big ones here are my man, Joe Madureira, drawing the covers for those classic issues. Then you have other artists here like Bart Sears, Tom Rainey, it looks like. Yeah. And Matthew Ryan. And then you have covers to the trade paperbacks. And there's also Marvel Premiere Classics back here, editorial stuff. This is the trade paperback back here, X-Men Alpha Flight, The Gift. I don't know if it was a trade paperback with just a single issue reprinting those. And then this beautiful standard edition cover that I showed earlier. This is the standard edition cover for the Omnibus, also collected in here in case you have the direct market cover. But this doesn't have the logo. This is by R.B. Silva. Let's take a look at this binding. 848 pages, sewn binding, and there's that eye. Not that big of an eye, but hey, we got some reading to do though. So I'm sure it will get bigger. And I get asked a lot this question, that is, are we just to assume that every omnibus has sewn binding? These days, I think so. But when I'm doing retro views of older omnis, some of them do have a lot of glue that makes it look like they're glued binding, or some of the softcover omnibus from other publishers do have glued binding. Let me see if I can find a spread to show you the gutter curve. Alright, here we are on pages 206 and 207. And here is what the gutter curve looks like. Not much of any gutter loss. And honestly, this book doesn't have that many spreads. And as far as the book, towards the beginning and towards the end, I'm sure you noticed. Here we are, the very first page, and it's staying open. And then in the very back, here's another spread. And it's coming up just a little bit. But again, I've not read it. I just literally did the proper omnibus opening of this, and here we have it. So there's what the spread looks like. Very minimal gutter loss. Not that there's a ton of spreads in here. Welcome to the bookshelf, Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 4. Hope you survived the experience. But that, as they say, is that. When this book comes out, don't forget to check out our sponsor, CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. course, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. Now, that was the content, the page count, and the build of this omnibus. Let me know in the comments down below. No, not if you're picking it up. Which cover you're picking up. We are talking about Uncanny X-Men Omnibus. Of course you're picking this up. So this was my most anticipated omnibus of 2020 and now 2021. So it is finally home. That means that I can finally start putting up on the Patreon poll which reading order I should do next. Superman or X-Men, the updated reading order in collected editions. If you have any questions, please leave those comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We can be found on Redbubble and on Patreon. Amazing ways to support the channel. More importantly, please everybody stay healthy, stay safe, and much love to all of you.